Hi everyone, I'm Jigravi Singh and this is Race to 2030. Today's episode is about Goal 13, which is climate action. Lockdowns may have resulted in a 6% drop in greenhouse gas emissions. However, this is still short of the 7.6% annual reduction to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. According to the UN statistics, investments in fossil fuels continue to be higher than investment in climate activities. To discuss this topic further and find out some ways to curb its effects, I'm going to be speaking to the Secretary General of the 9th Annual AISVN MUN, Miki Nguyen. I first got to know Miki in November of last year when I went to the AISVN school for my chair training. During our brief moment there, she helped and led all chair people gathered to do their best. She gave us the resources to succeed in our jobs and was there online to always answer our queries. When I met her at the conference in January, she reassured us, especially the new chairs, of the tasks required to complete. She made them comprehensive, and I'm proud of the efforts in conducting the AISVN conference this year. She's an incredible leader, and I can't wait to see her as the Secretary General.
So, Mickey, do you believe that through education, innovation, and adherence to climate commitments, we can curb the effects of the climate crisis?
Yes, I do believe that through education, innovation, and adherence to commitments that we can curb the effects of climate crisis, because through education we can teach the younger generation what the negative effects are and how to try to avoid it. Innovation, we can create new items or improve on what we already have. And adherence to like goals or climate commitments, like like proposals by different nations, we can move towards a more sustainable future.
What policies should governments create to curb the effects of the climate crisis?
Well, what I believe is some policies governments can create are incentives for clean energy, for the use of clean energy, both with like individual consumers for their household or even with giant corporations. Maybe there's a deduction in tax for increase or like a bonus, like a bit of money. Limitations on pollution, like a carbon tax, or especially for bigger nations, not bigger nations, bigger companies that manufacture their items within the nation. I believe that there should be some type of tax or like kind of like a price ceiling, but for pollution.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, if that makes any sense. Also, just like create the policies around scientists and what they say, and just take that as the truth, because that's what we should do. And policies should also aim for drastic changes, because policies in general should aim for drastic measures, but take small steps to get to where you want to be. Also, another thing that I thought about was make cities that don't depend on cars. This isn't really a policy, but change cities to be more like eco-friendly, such as having more bike lanes or making streets smaller and more focused on communities than just cars. And pass policies that protect their local ecosystems that they already have, and develop programs to grow and expand what was there before.
Yeah, I agree with that, especially by taking small actions. It can really create a big impact on our world.
Mm-hmm.
So my third question is, nowadays schools really have to get children informed about the climate crisis and what it is, that more young people can get involved by taking small steps to curb the effects. So what should schools teach children to become more environmentally aware or to take climate action?
School should at first teach them to the SDGs or whatever will come after 2030. I'll take, I guess, our school and like our international school environment, for example. I got introduced to the SDGs when I was like in sixth grade, and that was when I started being aware of them. And throughout the years, I learned more about them, and so through that, I was able to understand what the UN was trying to achieve within 15 years, and then we can use that to create a community within schools to have a more sustainable future, just to instill that culture within the kids. So that's like making sure everyone in school participates in it, making like reusing items like a common thing. So it's not like something weird. It's already it's like second nature to them. Also teach them about tools such as like the B Corp website, which shows which companies are going on the path of sustainability, which ones are already meeting their goals, which ones haven't. And so that can inform them on how to spend their money. And so they can support the brands that are more environmentally cautious and trying to take steps in the climate action. Also, I believe schools should also teach that sustainability within the household is quite simple and do what you can. If you can't like go out and spend so much money on new items, just reuse the ones you have and just try to cut down on things you don't need, like on plastics you don't need. But I think a really big part that school should teach kids is like vote with your wallet, like spend money on the companies and corporations that do have a focus in environmental action, because what I believe and I think is that a lot of companies are more focused, will want to change if there is a monetary incentive for it, if they see that a lot of consumers are willing to buy stuff, and like future consumers such as these kids in schools are only going to buy your items and buy your products if you are environmentally cautious, environmentally friendly, then they will change.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And especially you getting informed at sixth grade, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I got informed about this when I was quite young too. I think when I was in seventh grade. Yeah, around that time, I learned about the SDGs and what they are, and that they're inspiring me to, create small changes with all the goals there are. And I've even started my own blog for that. So
Really? Wow. Send me the
yeah,
link after this. I want to read it.
yeah, it's on Instagram.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So
Yes.
my other question is, how can developing countries, since they really require many resources and many tools to catch up with all the other developed nations, which have the resources to take the necessary action to combat the climate crisis. So, what can or how can developing countries act on the climate crisis?
Well, I think that they could teach kids on what to do and change or add to the curriculum, add to like the public school curriculum on, the climate crisis and how to be more environmentally aware with what you have. Um, Also to focus on the climate when creating policies for economic development. So maybe that could be there no construction buildings around this area because there's a rainforest there with a lot of biodiversity. Also partner with developed nations to help them grow into a more sustainable future. But with the last idea I have, I think it's also really cautious to not get too dependent on other nations. But developing countries have something that developed countries don't, in which that they still have a lot of room to grow. So if they base a lot of their policies around the environment and around the climate crisis, then I think the developed countries now will grow into a more sustainable country in the future.
Yeah. So, my last question is about us young people and the change we can make to curb the effects of the climate crisis and hopefully turn it around to make it a more better and prosperous world. What do you think we, the young people, can do to act on the climate crisis and make sure its effects slow down or can possibly come to an end?
So for us young folks, we don't really have that much power in general, but going back to what I said, it's like voting in general. A lot of us are coming near the age of where for countries that we are able to vote for the government officials that have the same ideologies as you and the same goals as you as for the climate and for the environment. Also, as I stated before, we should vote with our wallets. I personally think this is the strongest and most impactful thing we can currently do because we're going to be like the new market of new market of people that are going to consume products. And so when companies see that they're only consuming products that are from companies that are environmentally friendly, then they'll change their ways and they'll change to clean energy. Also, we can try to educate other people. We're in like the age of technology and social media. We can create posts and try to spread this message around and hope that people are going to listen. Yeah, I think that sums it up.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, strongly. So that's all the questions I have for today. And thank you so much for answering them and taking your time to come in to discuss all these questions, especially about the climate crisis, which is especially an ongoing crisis right now. And we have to take urgent actions on that.
Yeah. Thanks for asking me.
Yes. Also, good luck on your MUN.
Oh.
That's it for episode 13. I'll be back in episode 14, which is Life Below Water. There are so many ways to curb the effects of the climate crisis, and I do provide ways to tackle them in my blog on Instagram, JagraviSingh2030. Please do check them out for ways you can take action upon the crisis. It doesn't have to be something big. Starting with something small can really make the difference. Walking more to places, using public transport, becoming a vegetarian for a month, or using more biodegradable products can be ways you can take action upon the crisis. Thank you and see you all soon.